Before I start this video, I want to send thoughts and condolences to the family of Matt White. Matt passed away recently. He was a member of our Yu-Gi-Oh group back in the early 2010s. I remember him as always playing Prophecy, even before the deck was good, and even after the deck was bad. That was his deck of choice. I remember he had a quote. I was talking about quitting the game, and he wasn't even a part of the conversation. I just remember he was sleeving his deck at the end of the table, and he goes, "You can never quit. You can try and quit, but you'll always be back." And he almost had this like malaise look on his face, like he just wanted to stop playing the game, but he just couldn't do it because the community of the game, it always pulls you back in. And when I decided to come back to Retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Years ago, I always just thought of that. I've quit this game and come back and quit and come back so many times. And every time I come back to the game, I always think of that quote from him. So I will always remember him through those words, and thoughts and condolences to his friends and family. What's up, guys? WhoNeedsMeta here with Nathan. We are your broadcast team, I guess you want to say it, for the RRC
Sure.
in Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, we'll be doing the play-by-play. Really excited to kind of preview the event, what we think's going to happen, what's going down, things you need to know, all that good stuff. Friday night, they will be running pods. It's kind of a social night. There'll be like food and drinks and stuff like that for people to like hang out. But they will be doing pods, and we'll be able to fire anything. So I'm going to start this out with the call to action, which is what YouTube apparently wants people to do. I ignore everything that YouTube wants me to do, but I'm doing it now because I want it. And I want people to bring no Crush, no Sark, Perfect Circle, Friday night. I'll make at least like 4 or 5 people from St. Louis bring Perfect Circle, and we'll just.
I will have at least. I know I didn't. I think Chris already put some together too, but I will try to have at least 5 Perfect Circle decks that I can bring with me.
Yeah, our group does no Crush, no Sark because there were like 30 copies of Crush Card in existence, and it's like there are more copies of Crush Card in this room than in the world, so we're not going to do that. But that's my call for Friday night. I want to see that. We're going to be testing the stream and whatnot. So, but if we want, I'll just bring a Perfect Circle deck. Like we got hotels there. We're on site, so we can just kind of leave everything in the room and kind of come back and forth as we need to. So Friday night, I like to play a little bit with y'all, if possible, depending on the setup and everything. So Saturday, I wanted to talk about what we expect going into the event. I want to look at the top 8 for the most recent RRC multi-day, which featured 4 hero beats, 1 wind-up, 1 Geargia, and 2 Inzektors, which I'm actually surprised about. There's been some chatter in the Discord about Inzektor being better than we think. So there's essentially 3 variants of hero beat, because I think hero beat is going to be a little bit more represented than we think. There's the bubble beat variant, some that play a hero lives, some that do not. There's the traditional stun variant, which you would see in like Tengu. And now there's the skill drain build that's using skill drain, obviously, and Barbaros, which is pretty cool. So skill drain is obviously super matchup dependent, great against Geargia, great against windups, not so great against things like Chaos Dragons and Dark Wolves. So you have to kind of build your board around that. But I don't know. I am torn on what variant I like. What variant do you like?
So maybe it's just the cynic in me, but like I don't play, talking about a different format, in Tengu, like TG Stone is a pretty big thing.
Yes.
And like I deliberately go out of my way not to play Skill Drain and Barbaros and that. I understand if I was joining a tournament, I probably should, but it just doesn't feel fun to me. So I would probably avoid the Skill Drain variant myself. A Hero Lives is such an interesting card to me.
I just ordered my 2 copies to try it. Like that's one of the cards that I just like don't own. I was like, if enough people are going to play it, I have to know if it's like the truth or not, you know?
Yeah. So in preparation for tonight, I was talking with some of my coworkers about this earlier today, because we all play like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, obviously. At least I hope I do. I'm here. So
you are here.
I am here. But yeah, Hero Lives is such an interesting card. Half your life points to just put a monster on board seems risky.
But I had it. I played against Vince, who was playing it, and he just like OTK'd me. Like you just flip it and you just win the game. So and like the warrior returning alives in that variant are fairly interesting because essentially if you do a hero lives plus warrior, you're doing the same thing as Stratos like plus call, to where you go a hero lives, Stratos, special bubble man, a warrior returning alive, the Stratos normal grab bubble man special, and that's the same combo where it's the Excal blade armor, and then obviously you have miracle and stuff for follow up. So it's like you have the 3 calls, the 2 warrior returning alives, and the monster reborn. So you have 6 cards to combo with your hero lives. So it seems like an interesting way to play the deck. I do like it. I do like the idea.
Like I said, it definitely seems a little bit more explosive. And maybe this is just like the old head in me, but it's interesting seeing like these builds turn into a more explosive variation of them. When we're talking about a deck like Hero Beat,
which is like slower.
Traditionally, it's traditionally been like more of a mid-range kind of control, maybe even control. It's never really been about trying to just like go all in as quickly as possible, but it could just be that this innovation is necessary to keep up with things like Inzektor and windups, especially windups. I think the one thing that's interesting to me about this set of top 8 is that there's just no Chaos Dragon as well.
Yeah, there's no Dark Worlds, no Chaos Dragons, no BAM, and no agents.
Yes. Dark Worlds isn't super surprising. Honestly, as much fun as I have with that deck, Dark Worlds just loses so hard to the side deck. Games 2 and 3 for Dark Worlds are usually rough.
Yeah, scrolling down, it was the 5th most represented deck with 5 players. So Chaos Dragons had the most with 10, Hero Beat 9, Wind Up 9, Dino Rabbit 8, Dark World 5, and then Inzektor 4.
Geargia 4, Agent 4, 3/6 Sam. I would love to see a 6 Sam player do well.
I also would like to see a 6 Samurai player do well. I think the deck is... See, I put it up there with Rabbit, where it's like... It's kind of like Wind Up, where it needs 2 cards to do something. But you have, like... Wind Up has, like, obviously Magician Shark, which is pretty, like, game-ending to start. But then you also have Gateway. Like, Samurai has that win button card where you have Gateway plus any 2 monsters, and you can win the game that way. What are your thoughts on Wind Up playing Upstart Goblin?
I think it's so I think that it's probably the better build.
I agree. I like Upstart Goblin in the deck.
I think Wind Up has no problem hitting up to 9k if they need to, but they also just don't need to, right? If they're able to get the locks and stuff off, the shock lock off, or if they're able to just put the damage on board, even if it's only like, even if it's not the full 9k, if they can represent a board state, more often than not, they're still probably going to take the game. So I think the extra 1,000 or even 2,000 life points at that point is kind of just almost irrelevant. Like, obviously, you're going to give your opponent another turn and everything like that, but more often than not, if Wind Up is getting their combos off, they're kind of just in control of the game.
Do you think anybody tries the Gishki FTK?
I'm going to say that nobody is going to try the Gishki FTK.
I think
we have over 120 players, so there might be one.
I think somebody is being quiet about it and is going to try and show up with it. There's always somebody. I mean, we saw is
this somebody that's maybe like in our friend group?
No, I don't think anybody in our friend group is going to show up. I don't think anybody in our friend group is going to be a little poopy pants and show up with Gishki FTK. But I do think somebody is like, I bet I could pull this off, because like we saw it at the multi-day where people tried Final Countdown. None of them did well, but there was I think the previous multi-day, or it might have been the previous REDU Rulers. I think it was what it was called. The whatever the single day event was, I forget the name, what they branded it, but it's an RRC. Essentially, just people tried Final Countdown. It didn't work. People tried it. So I think that people are gonna be willing to try anything. Now, which of the variants of Geargia do you like going into the event?
So,
because looking at ProStorm's list from this event, this is what I would consider at least the ideal monster lineup. So I've played the variant that was popularized with the 1 fortress, 1 gear frame, and the 3 cars. And I was like, we're running out of guys. It just felt weird. The idea of going with one, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do three gear frame, 2 fortress, 1 cannon, or 1 force, whichever one you want to include, and try it out. And I was like, okay, this is good. And it's like, I think maybe the 2 Thunder Kings work when you just don't, because you just need more monsters. And maybe the 2 Thunder Kings can supplement the additional, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. So you can slim it down and you get to keep 2 extra trap cards. I saw Corey uploaded his profile from the Snow Day event that he got second, where he was playing Gores and multiple hand traps as opposed to the Fiendish Chains. He was not playing Fiendish Chain. He was playing Veilers and Maxis and Gores. I think that is something that can also be included. I think that's also valid. I do like Veiler.
List here for a second.
Yeah. It's essentially kind of the same thing where he was playing the 3 cars.
Yeah, he's just got looks like 21 monsters, 22 monsters instead of
he's just got the hand traps.
Playing like a heavier trap lineup, yeah.
Yeah, he was playing the hand traps. But I think the Thunder Kings and maybe picking one of the 2 hand traps or picking the Fiendish Chains is the way to go. Maybe that's not. Maybe Karakuri is the correct way. I think there are some good players that are backing the Karakuri variant, but for some reason it hasn't had that success online. I don't know if it's like the DB shuffle algorithm just doesn't like the Karakuri part of the deck for some reason. I've seen the whole DB.
It's entirely possible.
DB sticks dad.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that DB hits the one-ofs to your hand a lot easier.
A lot more, yeah.
It may or may not be true, but I definitely believe it, whether it's true or not. So I do think the Thunder King is interesting. I don't know how I feel about it personally, because like obviously putting a Thunder King on board can be very beneficial after you've already done everything you need to do, and that's the idea, right? But it does also feel that like opening with a Thunder King wouldn't feel great, and maybe I'm just
see, I like the idea
at the deck list a little bit wrong.
Yeah, you stick the Thunder King and you use it to stall until they out it, and then you start putting your guys on the board. So it seems like, because like a lot of times you just like, I just have an accelerator and a Thunder King. Like, what am I gonna like? Or I have an accelerator and nothing. Like, I can't do anything with this. So Thunder King gives you an option of a thing to stick either early or mid game. I mean, obviously Thunder King's insane in a simplified game state as well, and which is typically where Geargia wants to get anyways. So even mid late game, the card can do some work. It's not necessarily you stick it turn 1. And that's like your thing. Like, you don't have to open it. You can use it later on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Of the 2 Inzektor lists, which one do you like? Do you like the BLS list or the one without BLS? Like, there's the instant fusion, like all in kind of thing, like where like, if they Veiler my Centipede or whatever, Fiendish Chain, I can instant fusion and make a Zen mains. Or do you like the card car tomato kind of going all in with the actual Inzektor engine and the calls? And I mean, obviously every list is going to be playing call, but
I'm going to be honest. I'm more partial to the Veiler BLS list.
I am as well. I really like Armageddon Knight. I think Armageddon Knight as a one-of is a really cool idea. And it just works for me. I've played it for years.
I mean, I would say that like in a deck like this, a single Arma to get your engine running is probably a good idea. I also think that, I don't know, if I was playing it, I would probably make a combination of this, because you're not running a lot of back row, so Gores feels very good in that instance. But also with the fact that you're running T-King and the lights, BLS just feels very, very necessary there. I like Arma to be able to get your engine going by getting a Hornet or a Ladybug Engrave, or later in the game to just be able to give you more options versus the card D just drawing you cards from the get-go.
Yeah, and then obviously those come out when the D fissures come in.
Yes. I would say that just looking at these two lists, I am more partial to the latter, the BLS and Effect Veiler.
I completely agree. What do you think is going to win the event?
Oh man, looking at the past few events that we've been looking at, it almost makes me hopeful that Hero Beat will take it. Despite the fact that I really don't think that heroes are like that great of a deck.
You can just brick on no monsters. Like you can, it's pretty easy to open unplayable hands.
There's so many ways that you can just not be able to play. I remember, this was post Abyss Rising launch, but I remember going to a regional and being at the top tables playing against a Bubble Beat guy, and he just couldn't play. And I'm sure it was probably like the 2 games that he actually bricked during the whole day, but it was like exactly when the games mattered the most. And I can't imagine how that felt for him. And that is probably why like the Barbaros skill drain version is probably the better version, because you have more monsters to not fall into those bricky, just no monster hands. Not to mention that 1900 isn't really anything to scoff at, even if you don't have skill drain. But as much as I would like to see one of those decks do like very, very well, it does feel like the deck is kind of just middle of the pack to me. Which is kind of how I feel about Chaos Dragons too, but Chaos Dragons are also just extremely explosive.
They can just have games where they just pop off. You can just pop off.
Yeah. You think you have your 2 back row and you flip the one that you need, and it's just like, great, you stop my 1 card, and now I'm going to hit you with 5 more. And it's Chaos Dragons just being able to just go from 0 to 100 in a matter of like a split second is insane.
You just need that recharge.
I'm sure we'll
just get moving.
Yeah. I do. Maybe we'll just go out of left field. Maybe I'll just say Dark World. I think Dark World's going to win.
I'm giving it to Geargia. I just think the deck's too good.
It's not. Dark World's not going to win. I think Geargia is good, but I also just think that it's missing like the 1 card that makes it amazing.
Doesn't need it. Format's slow enough to where it doesn't need it, in my opinion.
That's probably true. All
right, so we want to talk about a little bit about GOAT, the GFC that we're doing on Sunday. I do want to talk about the FLC 39 Format Library Championship that had 129 players. That was earlier this month, because the top 4 is some pretty interesting lists. First place being Cast Return with like Shining Angel. It's only playing 1 return, but so essentially it's just Angel Chaos, which is a deck from got back in the day. Used to run Tomato. The Zaborgs are pretty interesting as your additional lights. No Moth, which is kind of crazy. Am I tripping? Yeah.
No, you're not tripping. But I also feel like Moth in general in the current GOAT meta just doesn't feel anywhere near as good as it used to. I mean, you can look at every single one of these lists, and just like has always been the case with GOAT, every single list has 2 Noblemen of Crossout in it.
Yeah, I mean that card's is that too. It's gonna get played too. It's gonna get played. It's so good.
Yeah.
But Spy just walls the Warrior deck, and Dekoichi is so helpful for a lot of the Chaos decks playing it. So it makes sense for having that out. Like the Warrior deck just needs out. Yeah. I mean, look at the Warrior deck that got third. It was playing 2 Sasuke because of how much it doesn't like GK Spy. So I do think the Angels are interesting. I think the Zaborgs are pretty cool. I think Double Book is cool. I do want to talk about the Chaos Warrior Turbo deck, which is pretty interesting because coming from like that variant, I haven't gotten to try it yet. I have all the cards. I do want to give it a go at some point. I actually just got the Secret First Fairy Lily. But the idea of not having to cram Blade Knight in matchups that Blade Knight isn't good, so you have enough lights to support BLS because you want to play BLS as any deck.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to do the cram thing. Just being like, I'm just going to play Thunder Dragon. Obviously, it makes your deck more vulnerable to cards like Trap Dust Shoot, which is at 3. And the traditional Warrior deck doesn't really care too much about Trap Dust Shoot. Like, I sided out against the traditional Warrior deck because there's only usually like 14-ish monsters in the whole deck. So it's kind of hard to hit something, and they're usually keeping their hand count pretty low mid-late game. So it's usually only good going first. The Horus deck looks interesting because of the Steins, where it's like Decree locks the traps, Horus locks the spells, and Stein ends the game.
Yes, very much so.
Which, that's that
looks like it's the whole deck.
That's the game plan. You can use meta, relinquish, suck a monster, and then tribute for a level 6, and that's kind of the thing. No Last Will, so you do have to hard draw the Stein, but I mean,
sure,
that's fine. You have the goat meta. You can play goat control game until then. The other decks that weren't played, I didn't see any of the blue chaos. I don't know, it might be a little later on, which is a cool deck. The Stein, there's like dedicated Stein decks that are not Horus related, and then there's a Stein
OTK on here.
Yeah, and then the deck that won Worlds, and that Stein deck is playing Bizar Shock, so it's the cool variant. Deck that was a mirror for Worlds, which was Panda Bird. I do like the Panda deck in this format. I've played against it quite a bit. I never actually played it. I own one Panda and none of the Flip Panda guys, and I'm still missing like Nightmare Wheel. I don't own any Secret Barrels, so I'm missing a lot of that deck. So I don't have a chance to play it, but I have played against it. Chris has it, and I always ask to play against that deck. It is very good. It's a very good deck, and it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It is weird seeing the amount of sides for it, whether it be the Amazon Archer, the Token Thanksgiving, the Mystic Walks, just all the stuff like that. I'm dying, by the way. I'm very sick.
It's
we're fighting through it.
No, it is very interesting. It is very interesting to see that stuff is still being cited just in case.
Yeah.
Right? Because that just kind of shows how much of a presence that deck is. I really enjoy just that whole thing. I mean, you know, I have Baboon Burn in PC.
Yeah.
And Panda Burn is one of those decks that I very much enjoy messing around with. I don't really have a lot of Goat put together, but it would be on the list of like, that would be one of the decks that I would have put together for Goat.
Yeah,
probably the first one, to be honest.
The blue Chaos deck, if you guys aren't familiar, it's Maju and Relinquish, and you use the discard traps like Regeki Blake, Break, and Wing Blast. And so you just go, that's a light. You go light, search a dark, and then pitch it, and that's your light and dark, and you just like play your typical Chaos monsters. And that's, you get to use Thunder Dragon.
Thunder Dragon in reverse.
Yeah, and you have the access to like multiple discard cards because of it, which is pretty cool. And that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so
1-for-1 spot removal in this format is very good.
Yeah. And then briefly to talk about the Edison event, the 64-man Swiss Edison event that's happening Sunday. I do think that Sizzle 41 will probably be the most popular list for the Vayu deck. But you did want to give a shout out to the zombie deck that won RBET Genesis.
I did.
I did watch the deck profile, and I really like the explanations on why the teleport build is better than Diva.
Yeah. So there was a lot of conversation about that just like during the actual match, where they were kind of talking about what variations each deck is kind of better against, and it was very much that this build was probably better into the birds, which is what the majority of the meta is. Whereas like the Diva build is a little bit better into kind of your more explosive and niche decks like your Twilight Sworn and stuff like that. So it was really, really cool just to see zombies like winning.
Yeah, I like that deck a lot.
because that deck is so much fun and does not see a lot of play. On stream, they were talking about how, like, I want your opinion on this. On stream, they were kind of talking about how they were like removing Zombie Master from the list.
I get it.
How do you feel about this deck without a Zombie Master? Yeah, that was kind of the consensus. Was just like,
so if
Zombie Master doesn't really feel good 75% of the time.
If you leave them with a Plague or a Goblin Zombie, you can kind of win the game. But that is your variant with like your Maliciouses and whatnot. I will say that this type of zombies, the mid-range teleport list, plays similarly to the variant in Tengu that just won Tengu Worlds. If you're not familiar, Zombies did win Tengu Worlds, and that's like a very mid-rangey, make your good trades, float with Goblin Zombie, use your Grave Recurrence with your Mizuki as much as you possibly can, and just try and make those trades. The difference is Tengu, you have your Tour Guide engine, and you have 3 Goblin Zombie, so you can Leviair back your Mizuki and do it again. So that's like a big thing that you have there. You also don't have access to Goyo in that format, so you are weaker off on your 6s anyways. So, yeah, I think it's going to play more like a mid-range deck in treating it that way, rather than like if you leave me a guy, I can go 23, 28, 29 with Brio, Goyo, Colossal plus Mali Engrave. So that playing this variant is interesting and it's really cool, and I hope it takes off. But man, so many of those cards get hit by deck dev, and Zombie Master. Zombie Master just doesn't. That's the appeal of Zombie Master to me, is it doesn't get hit by deck dev. So you still have a play, provided you also have a monster you can discard with the Zombie Master after the deck dev resolves, which again, low thought. So I don't know. It's very, it's tough. Trap Stun maybe. I don't know. It's I don't want it to be a one-off. It most likely is. I don't want it to be, but I can see it being like someone just had a really good run. I'm not taking away anything from the player. Like, the player played it right. Like, it's like it took somebody who knew what they were doing.
Oh no, I mean, apparently the player who was playing, I don't know like of him all that much, but the player who was playing it is apparently just, this is the deck he plays.
Yeah.
And he's been
people just have their pet
time.
decks.
Yeah.
All right,
so, I agree.
What's your prediction for the GFC? What's winning GOAT?
Ooh, that one's a little bit more difficult. I kind of just want to say Chaos Turbo. Like, it is kind of just all around encompassing, just a good deck. Warrior, I could see Warrior giving it a run for its money though. Like, Blade Knight is such a powerful card, and being able to just set a bunch of traps behind a Blade Knight and be like, get over it, is pretty real. But I think that Chaos Turbo just makes up a vast majority of the meta, and I also think it's just very oppressive, and I think it's probably going to be what takes.
I'm going to go with Warrior. I think a Warrior variant is probably going to be the Chaos variant. Just because that's the one that everyone plays, whether it's the Blade Knight or the Thunder Dragon build. Yeah, you're still doing it to cram BLS. Like, let's be honest. That's what I'm picking. For Edison, I'm gonna go with. I think it's gonna be a Frog variant, whether it be Forgs or Hero Frog. I'm gonna go with a Frog variant.
Really, you think so? I don't know. I think it's gonna be some kind of bird.
You got to pick between the Blackwing and Vayu. I'm not going to let you just say a bird deck.
Okay. It'll probably be Vayu. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, we'll be.
It'll probably be Vayu. I do hope that there's a lot of zombie representation. It's a 64-man, right?
Yeah.
So I do hope there's at least 2 players playing zombie in that 64-man.
That would be fun. I would like to see some Dark Calling representation, please. We need. I
mean, is Nick going with us?
I don't know if Nick's going, but that deck is the truth.
Well,
I don't even think Cadigan's going to be playing it in the 64. I think he's playing something else. So
something else.
He's had this little pet thing that he's been running with. I don't want to spoil it. It's really stupid. But when it works, it works.
Man. Oh no, don't spoil it. I want to see it. I want to see it day of.
You want to see it day of? Like, what is this?
I want to see it day of. I want to see it on stream day of. Well, hopefully he does well enough with it that ends up happening.
Awesome. For everyone else, I want to see your comments and predictions down in the comments on what you think is going to do well. Hopefully everybody is going. If you do, please say hi. We definitely want to hang out with everyone and play games. I'm going to try and bring...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'll have a redo deck on me, like 100%. There's no doubt in my mind I'll have a redo deck. So I'll be excited to play that with everybody. But thank you all for watching, and I really, really hope I get to see everybody soon.